Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we are going to take a look at what the Z's have said about this transition we're going through in humanity. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Z's in case you are not familiar. But I think a lot of us probably are familiar with Lee Harris. And Lee was on a podcast. He did a two-part podcast, with Mayim Bialik, I think is how you say her name. I will post the episodes in the description, okay? Very worth watching. And Lee, what he does is he channels with a group of spiritual beings that call themselves the Z's. So what we're doing for the next 3 days is we're going to have a conversation based on just what the Z's have said. And then we're going to ask the lead team collective about, we just want to confirm the things that the Z's are saying to see where there might be some consistency and where there might not be consistency. I have a feeling they're going to be consistent, but it's nice to confirm it. And I have to say that this conversation with the Z's helped me feel much more comfortable with the idea that things are shifting and doing a little preparation that we've been talking about, because you just don't know. You're like, I don't even know what's really going on, right? Once I heard these two episodes, it just made me realize, okay, chill out, do some preparation, and that I wasn't like, I don't know, you just kind of feel like you're a little crazy. Like, you just go back and forth, like, I don't even know. So these two episodes with the Z's really helped me a lot, which is why I want to dissect them a little bit with you. Okay, so let's do it. This first one, so basically I broke these down because the Z's said a lot in 2 episodes. So I broke this down into 3 episodes for us. They'll be about 30 minutes each. The first episode is what is changing in the world. So the Z's are confirming a lot of things we've already been talking about, which again is very helpful. Okay. It's just nice to get that confirmation from some entities that I personally trust a great deal. Lee is what I find extremely trustworthy. You guys can let me know how you feel. Okay. The next episode is what we may need to build instead. That's a grouping of things that the Z's have talked about. And then the third episode, so 3 nights from now, how to live through the transition. So those are the 3 things we're going to be looking at. Okay. So for today, let's see. Okay. So basically the Z's have said the world is changing, but not in the way most people expect. The Z's do not describe this as one giant event, which some people do, and that suddenly changes everything. Okay. Actually, I don't think anyone that I know of says it's one single event that changes everything. I think there's like a flash of light that blah, 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 blah. We've been talking about who is doing that. Oh my gosh, I got her book. We did a whole series on it. Ann Tucker, thank you. That Ann Tucker has talked about the flash of light, but I don't get the sense from having read Ann's book and the flash of light that it's like everything is going to be completely different. So I don't get that sense. So the Z's are kind of saying the same thing. They describe a slow shift that unfolds over many years. Okay, so it's a slow shift. They say many of the systems we have trusted are becoming weaker. And I think that's what we're sensing. And what the lead team has told us to be prepared for is really kind of the preparation part. They say the Z's say that people may see more limits on freedom, more pressure to conform, and more attempts to control what people think and believe. And that's why we are going to continue having conversations through all of this, especially with the lead team, so that we know what part of this is actually for our highest good and what part of this is part of the transition that, where do we need to limit our freedoms for a period of time to get through the transition? And do we need to? Those are going to be questions on the table, right? Where do we need to conform to some of the pressure that may be on us, and where don't we need to? Okay. And we're all going to need to use our inner guidance for this, but we'll also be having these conversations going forward. But the Z's, I have found this conversation again to be the most clear that they have been. Usually they give energy reports, but these were very specific messages. Again, they say there may be more limits on our freedom, more pressure to conform, which happened in 2020 during the pandemic. I didn't even feel pressure to conform. I just thought I was doing the right thing. And more attempts to control what people think and believe. They also say much of this works because people still believe the old story. Power belongs to a few people. We have no choice and nothing can change. So that's an old story that we are breaking down, but it's not going to happen all of a sudden. And actually, that's better. They actually said that. They said, you don't want it. I have no desire to be like, boom, boom, everything just broken. Because I think we would probably implode. Like, I think it would just be like, you know what I mean? You know how hard it's been to already cut, clear, cancel. It doesn't have to be hard to make the adjustments along the way, right? So today we're going to look at 3 of the things that the Z's talked about. Why they believe human rights may continue to be challenged, why they believe the old story is beginning to lose power, and why they believe this change will happen slowly over the next 10 or 15 years. Okay, so we're kind of in this for the long haul. We knew that. We knew this. The astrology says that. And again, we're not, I think between now and 2030 tends to be the most intense time. And then it'd probably be more of the building back, but we'll ask. Okay, so we're also going to ask the lead team collective whether the Z's are correct, but that's not really what we're trying to do here. I'm not trying to debunk him at all. It's just a matter of like, what kind of guidance do they want to give us based on what the Z's are saying? All right. Okay, so I will say a little prayer and make sure we have the right energy here. And then we'll ask some questions, and I'll go over each of the areas specifically what the Z said, and then we'll ask the lead team. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team, thank you so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, thanks for visiting. We hope you stick around. This is an amazing community, very supportive. We are no longer taking sides on things. Most of us are working on that. I firmly am in the stance that division is not good for us. So we are not going to be, we're looking at all sides now, okay? From all sides of everything, just we're going to try really hard not to have division. So lead team, anyways, I was going to say, if you're new here, the lead team is made up of all of our spirit teams. That's the name they have given me, using a pendulum. And some of our spirit team, so anyone who's like a member of the community here, if you're hanging out, your spirit team might be a part of this conversation. So you might want to give them permission. Sometimes they have told me that Some people need to give their spirit teams permission to be a part of the group, and some don't. So I don't know which ones do and which ones don't. But so if you want to ensure your spirit team's part of this conversation, then go ahead and give them permission, okay? Okay, so lead team, thank you very, very much for being here as always and partnering with us. So are you familiar? Well, let me do the law of challenge first. So in the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? To see how they've been moving both rods this whole time, and look at how they're just so still on the left side. In the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? I love that they just go boink, which they don't do often. You know that they kind of move them both around, right? In the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? They just know that this particular thing is kind of important. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so lead team, are you familiar with Lee Harris by chance? Yes, okay. The human Lee Harris, who channels the Z's? Yes. Is he channeling a group called the Z's, that they call themselves the Z's? Yes. And is this group a group that is guiding in love? They're using love to guide humanity, let's just say. Yes. Okay, very good. Are they similar to you, the lead team? Yes. Okay. Are there any crossover between you and the Z's? Oh, yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. So we've got a bunch of questions for you regarding some messaging from the Z's through Lee. Is this in our highest and best interest to have this conversation? Yes. Okay. Really wide swing on that. Okay. So the first thing is the Z's said, human rights becoming more limited. That doesn't mean permanently, it's just the transition, all right? So the Z's say one of the clearest signs of this transition that we're going through is that many people may begin to experience limits on their rights and freedoms. They do not describe this as one single event. They describe it as something that may happen gradually. More censorship, we've already started seeing that, haven't we? More pressure to agree, more rules, more control over information, more division between groups of people, which is why we are no longer doing that. We are not going to be manipulated by these lower energies to divide, okay? And I would encourage all of us to be thinking about that, from division in religion, division in politics, division in whatever, list them, all the different things that we can be divided over, all right? Right, how we raise our children, how we, whatever, values, Americans versus other countries, you know, even sporting events, the division that's created there. That is a manipulated event, by the way. I'm learning that even sporting events are designed for distraction. And, it's going to be interesting over time to see how they shift, right? We've always kind of wondered, have you ever heard yourself say, how come professional football players get paid this much and teachers get paid this much? There's a reason for that, and it has to do with keeping the masses distracted. So this is all the things I'm kind of becoming more aware of. So that's a division thing, though. So the Z's believe this may happen because large systems often try to hold on to power when they feel threatened. So this is how they start holding on to power. Okay. So the Z's say the timing of this. They describe this as something already beginning and likely continuing over the next several years. And maybe some of you are paying attention to what's going on in Iran and the oil, that, I'm even suspect at this point of whether that's even happening, like what part of that is even happening. They're just keeping the strait closed. even though Trump says it's open, and then of course they say it's closed. And what happens to the stock market? So the stock market went up on Friday. On Saturday, Iran comes out and says it's closed. Guess what's going to happen on Monday? So there's some stock market manipulation going on. They're kind of taking advantage of that, is what it appears to look like to me. So with the strait and the oil and all that kind of stuff, they are already starting to ask people to shelter in place, stay at home, not use gas, all that kind of stuff. So that is a means of control. It can be. So you can look at it that way. But the Z's are saying it's already beginning and likely to continue over the next several years. They make it sound strongest during the first half of the 10 to 15 year transition. Now, we've already talked many times of the golden future being somewhat established by 2050. All right. So there's this transition period for the next 10 to 15 years, which we've all signed up for. Yippee! It's kind of exciting. We just have to get through this kind of transition period together, I think. So they do make it sound like the strongest part is the first half of the 10 to 15 years. Okay, but they did say the next several years. So I don't think this is going to be like ending anytime soon. And what's really nice again is that the Z's are confirming this for us. It is stuff we've been talking about for 6 months, a little bit longer probably, once we kind of got out of the division part of the conversations. So it's good to have confirmation. So how to prepare, the Z's talked about this. Learn how to think for yourself. Pay attention to more than one source of information. Build relationships with people you trust. Stay informed without becoming overwhelmed. We've been talking about that. Practice staying calm when you hear something upsetting. Okay, those were very specific things from the Z's. Okay, so let's ask the lead team some questions here. So lead team, do you anticipate the transition that we're going through right now to last 10 to 15 years? Yes. Well, maybe that's not a good way to say it. Do you anticipate the turmoil that people are feeling, the chaos that people are feeling, the uncertainty to last 10 to 15 years? No. Okay. So the transition can last 10 to 15 years, but would you say from a human standpoint that there will be more people in fear for the next 10 to 15 years than in love? No. Great. Okay. So this period where people are feeling uncertainty and it's the spectrum of not being at the high level of love, right? Would you say this transition period may be 2 years, 2-ish years? No. Longer than 2 years? No. Okay. Is it going to be like this year, the rest of this year? Yes. Into 2027? Yes. So is that why you have recommended for this community, just do some preparation, whatever that anybody feels comfortable doing for 6 months period, like a 6-month period? Is that why? Yes. Does that mean that things people are preparing for is going to come to fruition? No. What does it mean, and we've explored this before in a couple of videos back. Does it mean that people in this community are more likely to feel more comfortable with the transition with at least 6 months of supplies? Yes. Okay. So let's see, what did we talk about here? So do you anticipate that we will start to feel more limits on our rights and freedoms? Yes. Will that have to do with oil? Yes. Is that going to be worldwide? Yes. So even, let's say in the United States, we will have some limits on our rights and freedoms due to the narrative around oil? Yes. Okay. Is this transition one single event? No. So that is consistent with what the Z's are saying. So would you agree that we might experience more censorship than we are right now? Yes. Might we experience more pressure to agree with the narrative they want us to? Yes. With more rules? Yes. More control over information? Yes. And more division between groups? Oh, no, which is great. So are you saying that the people are starting to stop with the division amongst ourselves, not just in our community? Yes, great. Is that going to be like a first step towards our sovereignty, like kind of saying no to the censorship, no to the pressure to agree, all that kind of stuff? Yes. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'm very literal with my T with interesting. Okay, the Z's believe this may happen because large systems often try to hold on to power when they feel threatened. Is that what's happening right now? Yes. Okay. Is this large system something we've talked about? Is this large system we're talking about of what some people are referring to as the cabal? Yes. The Illuminati? Yes. The Committee of 300? Yes. Are they all the same thing? Yes. So is this the group that is feeling threatened? Yes. Is there any other group that is feeling threatened? No. Okay. Would you consider this group the Black Hats? This is probably where we're going to have the biggest division. Yes. Okay. And anyone who is working to dismantle this group, the cabal, the Illuminati. I always thought that was all just, what do they call that? The secret state? No. Yeah, something like that. I can't think of the word now off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't think of it right now, but you know what I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They're like, yes. So is that why it's going to take a little while because of the dismantling of that group? Yes. Okay. And are we on the timeline right now that group will become unpowerful or they will lose their power? Yes. Is there a timeline where they won't lose their power? Oh, no. Really? So at this point, humanity is awake enough that they will lose their power? Yes. One of the comments that I've been hearing people say quite a bit recently that's ending up in my feed is you will own nothing and you will be happy or something like that. Have you guys heard that? You will own nothing and you will be happy. So they're like, yes. Can we say the same thing back to them? You will have no power and you will be happy. Okay, so we're going to start. That's our saying now. You will have no power over us and you will be happy. Yes, that's out of love. It's out of love. It's like, nope, Not anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can't have all the power you've had for thousands of years. So, but as you can imagine, that is why they are doing, I mean, they're just playing the old games. It's kind of interesting now that you know what the games are. You can see it, you know. Yes, they're saying yes. Okay. And we can continue to explore the games here so that people start to understand it better and better and better. So that you can get to a point where you're like, yeah, that's ridiculous. No more, you know, and not be in fear whatsoever about it, right? Okay, so lead team, is it true that human rights and personal freedoms may continue to be challenged during the next few years? Let's just ask this to confirm. Yes. Are many of these changes happening slowly enough that people may not fully notice them at first? Yes, just like COVID. I thought I was being a good citizen. What the hell? What the hell? Marcia, did you order my what the hell mug? I'm getting it. We have it in the shop, you guys. You can go buy it. What the hell mug? Could some people mistake increased control for safety or stability? Yes, you guys, I can see I was all about that. I thought I was doing, I mean, and you know what? I was doing it out of love. So there's nothing wrong with that if you're doing it out of love. So I think it's okay to not rail against right now any of the things that they're trying to say are for safety or stability. Like just take a step back for a little bit. Doesn't mean we have to stay in that space, but when it first starts to happen, you know, just, you know, remain calm about it, right? And see what kind of things they're asking us to do. Is it possible that fear may cause people to accept limits they would normally resist? Yes. So are they going to perhaps use some kind of event to make people feel fearful? Yes. Okay. Will this event have anything to do with extraterrestrials? Yes. Okay. Is that a certainty? No. Okay. So again, this is another message that I've kind of is coming into my awareness too, not from here, but from YouTube. Is that if something looks like you know, that we're being invaded by other galaxies, somebody, you know, from a different planet, that is a false flag. Is that true? Yes. Okay. So we'll just watch for that. And then, you know, if that ever happens, we'll be on right away. I'll probably end up doing a live that day, which, you know, someday we are going to get back to doing lives. I think we are. I'm kind of feeling it. We just, you know, we got to get organized on our end here. So, okay. Would staying informed from different sources help people see these changes more clearly? Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. Yes. And I'm encouraging everybody to train your algorithms to listen to people on what right now appear to be on different sides of the spectrum, of all different spectrums, whether it's religion. Just start listening to different people and then use your discernment to see what you're missing from their vantage point. Okay. So the LTC is saying yes. Okay. Could focusing only on one source of information make it harder to recognize what is happening? That makes sense, right? Yes. Not only one source, but one generation, one, you know, one female, one male. You just want to get, you know, perspective from all over the place. Okay, so the Z's, the old story is losing power, is what the Z's say. They are saying many people still believe an old story about how the world works. Yeah, it's only been 9 months for me that I'm not believing this old story anymore. So I get it. They describe that story like this. Power belongs to a few people. Ordinary people cannot change anything. The system is too big to challenge, and we must wait for someone else to save us. They say this old story is beginning to lose power because more people are waking up and questioning it. They believe the more people stop believing the old story, the weaker it becomes. So they are saying that's an old story. Humanity is no longer in 10, 15 years at all going to believe that power belongs to a few people. That's going to be incredible. We are no longer going to believe in 10 or 15 years that ordinary people can't change anything. We are no longer going to believe that the system is too big to challenge, because the systems won't be that big anymore, is my guess. And we will not have to be waiting for anybody to make those changes for us anymore, because we'll be making them ourselves, which is going to be awesome. So the timing on this, the Z's describe this as happening right now and growing stronger again over the next 10 to 15 years. So they're still given this 10 to 15 year timeline. How to prepare: notice where you may still believe you have no power. Pay attention to the stories you repeat to yourself. I mean, just because I've learned a lot of things doesn't mean that I'm just questioning everything. And my husband will ask me something, we'll be talking about something, I'm like, I'm not sure about that yet, Like, what about this? I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet. I don't have enough information. But about everything, Spend time with people who encourage independent thinking, which we definitely do here, and independently following your own intuition. Take small steps that help you feel less dependent. That's what we've been talking about in more of the preparation conversations, not about hoarding or panicking or like doing it out of fear. It's what can you do? We've all been talking about what's one skill that you could learn that maybe you've always wanted to, that you could contribute to humanity through that one skill. Maybe you already have some, but what's another one that you could be learning right now? And you're focusing your energy on that one skill. You guys know for me, it's canning. Like, I'm really into this. Like, I have canned so much stuff. And it's really helping me see a different viewpoint. And I'm really excited about that. Just that one skill is opening up a lot of different ideas for me. Okay, so be thinking about that. Take small actions that help you feel less dependent. And then we've been talking about, I had a realization of how dependent we have been our entire lives on the grocery store. It's like, holy crap, like they only keep 3 days of food in there because that's how much stock they can afford to keep in there. And then the trucks keep coming. But if that slows down, then it doesn't mean that the food's going to be gone completely. It's just going to be different, So I saw one person comment, which I agreed with, or somebody said, yeah, I'm the only thing I'm stocking up on is coffee. And maybe, I can't remember what the other thing was. And I was like, yep, the only thing I've been like, it's like, what do you really like? If you have a brand of something that you just really like, and if there's a disruption in that or it no longer is available, would you like to have that during this transition period for comfort or whatever? You know what I mean? So I don't think that things are going to be, it depends on where you live and everything. But I don't think that it's just going to be like 100%. But I was listening to this very helpful discussion it was a geopolitical discussion. And there's two guys who live in Asia, and they're both American. They live in Asia, in separate parts of Asia, because that's where things tend to happen first. And they're very interested in the geopolitical changes. And they're watching to see what type of changes start happening there first, because it'll happen there and then it'll come here. And so if we're listening to them, we have a better idea of what might be coming about. Okay. And they were having this conversation on plastics. They're like, it's not necessarily the food, it's the plastics that all the food comes in. So instead of having these little buckets that you might get a thing of oatmeal in, right? They're only going to be, this is a maybe right now, they're speculating that they might only be able to ship grains in these huge bins. Well, do you have some containers that you'll be able to go and get whatever you need if that's the only way you can get that at the grocery store? It's stuff like that they're talking about might be changes. So I thought that was interesting. So and I've never listened to these kind of people before, and I'm finding it extremely helpful. It's, so I'll post that video below too if you want to take a look at it. Okay, so let's see. So remember, just small actions that will help you feel less dependent. Okay, so lead team. Is the old story about power and control beginning to lose its hold on people? Yes, but is it enough? Is it enough for people to really make some significant changes? Yes. Okay. Well, that's good. Are more people waking up because their own experiences no longer match what they have been told? Yes. Okay. I mean, you can only gaslight for so long, right? I mean, when Trump sent that thing out, and again, this isn't about division. This is about who is actually communicating right now. Okay. This is not about being, a Republican or a liberal at this point. It's who's communicating right now. When he sent that tweet out about the Strait of Hormuz being open, but he showed it's just like this little, there was no like evidence. There was no like, this is why. It was just a report. And then, of course, the markets go up. And then the next day, Iran comes out and says, we closed it. The question is, was it ever open? We don't even know if it's actually really close. I mean, unless you're like, okay, well, let's ask. Just because I'm curious. They'll tell us what we need if, whatever's in our best interest. So is the Strait of Hormuz, has it been closed? Yes. Okay. Was it ever opened, allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only? Was it ever opened last week at all, like Trump said? Yes. Okay. All right. There we go. So it was open, and then the next day, Iran decided to close it? Yes. Is this whole thing orchestrated, though, by the Committee of 300? Yes. Is Iran in on the orchestration? Yes. Okay. So they legitimately opened it and then legitimately closed it, but it's all a part of the game. That they planned that. Yes. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Could believing that we have no power keep recreating the same world? Yes. See, we're just calling them on their BS at this point. You just got to call them on their BS. It's unbelievable, though. Like, I mean, when you first start learning this, you're going to, if this is your first time of hearing stuff like this, be prepared for your mind to get a little it needs to unwind. Do it slowly. Slowly. Because for those of you who, like me, who have been like cramming down this stuff in 9 months, 6 months or whatever, it's a lot. It's a lot for your nervous system to deal with. You just want to take it slow. Okay. Is it possible that people sometimes give their power away because they are waiting for someone else to fix things? Yeah, that's probably most of the time. Yes. Okay. Well, we can't do it all. We can't do it all, but we can, be a part of, that's a complicated one, I think. Would small actions towards independence help weaken the old story? Yes. Is learning just one new skill that can later be beneficial for people, humanity? Is that enough for us to gain independence? Yes. So for instance, if you have spent most of your life playing video games, not that there's anything wrong with a little enjoyment, but if you have spent a lot of your life playing video games, and a lot of this was not intended for you at all. I didn't even think about, I was not thinking about you, and I don't even know if you still play video games. So that's funny because all of a sudden I was like, oh, Lob's gonna think I'm talking about him. No, I that didn't even come into my mind. But if you have spent a lot of time playing video games, then that would video games contribute to humanity in a way that we're talking? No. Okay. So it's time to put those games down for a little while and pick up a new skill. Come back to it just like you might a Netflix movie, but some people can get really wrapped up into it, right? Okay, I don't know why that video game thing popped into my head. I don't play video games, and I don't really know anybody who does. So, are more people ready for a new way of thinking than most of us realize? Great. Yes. Yes. Okay. So the last part is why the Z's are saying change will happen slowly over 10 to 15 years. So the Z's repeatedly say they do not expect one giant event. We've talked about that. The 10 to 15 years. They believe people need time to build something new while the old system is still here. We're already talking about that. I would have never started canning, ever, unless this whole thing started happening. I just never would have even considered, I just never would have. So not even after 2020 did it move me enough to be like, because we didn't have, where I live, we didn't have hardly any disruptions. I mean, it fixed itself, So that's good. That's good. They believe people need time to build something new. So, and guess what gets us moving? A little bit of fear gets us moving. It's just the reality. We're humans, The Z's warn that a sudden collapse could create more suffering and chaos. Yeah, I would totally agree. So the timing, 10 to 15 years, they describe the early years as more confusing and unstable. I think that's what we're going through now. They describe the later years as a time when more people may begin living in new ways. I think the hard thing is I'm still going back to, every once in a while, I'll go back to someone I was listening to, even a channeler or tarot reader or something like that I was listening to 12 months ago. And they're still talking about like the division. And I just feel like that group needs to start moving along. Like there's still, I'm sure there's still people talking about the election being unfair. And maybe that's a good thing. I'm not sure, but it feels to me like we're way beyond that at this point. And that we need everybody to like catch up, Now, I don't know. Maybe we still need those people there. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't have any answers. I'm just exploring these things. But maybe it's just because I'm so much over here. Like that no longer interests me. It's like, yeah. We could go back to why they were saying for a long time things were going to shift. I mean, I have my suspicions now as to why that was. But I guess I'm just very much in the present moment, dealing with the present moment and what the present moment is presenting to us right now. Okay, so how to prepare. Stop waiting for one dramatic moment. Focus on small changes you can make right now. And I'm actually really relieved they're saying this is going to be kind of a stretched out thing, to be honest. I was feeling like, oh my God, we have 2 weeks or whatever, So build slowly instead of trying to do everything at once, and think about where you want your life to be in 5 or 10 years. Where do you want your life to be? Okay, in closing, is the transition humanity is moving through likely to happen over many years rather than through one sudden event? I think we already asked that. Yes. Would an overnight collapse create more suffering than positive change? Yes. Is it possible that many people are waiting for a dramatic event instead of noticing the slower changes already happening? No. Good. That's good. Is it, do you think it is important for some people to still be focusing on the 2024 election? No. Are you saying that because of my own bias about it? No. Are my biases clear? They've permanently cleared. I've asked them to permanently clear my own biases towards any of their answers. So is that still clear? Yes. Okay, good. So is it helpful for us to continue talking about the 2024 election at this point? No. Is that just for our community? No. Okay. Are people who are focused there slowing down the transition because they're still focused on something that happened a year and a half ago? Yes. Okay. I don't know. Ask your questions, you guys. I can always do follow-ups on these. Like, what do you want to know about that, if anything? Okay, so could focusing too much on one future event keep people from preparing for what is happening now? Yes, okay. And is focusing on the past event, hence the 2024 election, preventing people from preparing for what is happening now? Yes. And is that why it is better for people to focus on what is happening now? Yes. Are we meant to build the new world gradually while parts of the old one still exist? Yes. Oh, you guys, that feels so much better. I think it does. I think it does. Would people make wiser choices if they thought more in terms of the next 10 years instead of the next few months? That's great. Yes. Okay, so today we looked at whether the world is changing because old systems are weakening or because people are beginning to see through them. So the Z's believe both are happening at the same time. They say the next step is not to panic. The next step is building something stronger. So tomorrow we're going to look at, I'm going to record another video, same shirt. I won't have to do the challenge though. Tomorrow we're going to look at what they believe people should start building now. So this is real specifics that the Z's have given us. They say we may need to begin filling in the gaps ourselves. This is interesting. Local food, rather than relying on, strawberries coming from Mexico, unless you live in Mexico. Local support, local communication, and more independence from the systems we have always depended on. And again, that doesn't mean it's going to change tomorrow, right? But that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow with the Z's. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and that it's helpful. Remember, I'm going to link those below so you can go watch those yourself if you're interested. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.